Hi everyone, this is Sam with Wine News in 5. Today I'm going to give you an update on French vine pull subsidies, discuss the tiny 2024 harvest in France, Napa securing name protection in Mexico, the sale of the Duckhorn Portfolio, and a reminder about Come Over October events. First up, French vine pull subsidies. As I touched on 2 weeks ago, the French government recently requested 120 million euros in financial aid from the European Commission in order to grub up 30,000 hectares, over 74,000 acres, of French vineyards, which is about 4% of the country's total planted acreage. That request was approved on October 3rd. Growers anywhere in France are now entitled to 4,000 euros per hectare for permanently removing vineyard acreage. Vitisphere reported that subsidies cap out at 280,000 euros per producer. Applications open in mid-October, they close the last day of December, and vines are required to be removed by May 15th of next year. Now, I absolutely think this is necessary. However, I do wonder what will replace vineyards as a source of income for growers. Agriculture is, generally speaking, not the most lucrative business, and growers will need a replacement income. Of the 4,000 euros per hectare subsidy, more than half of that will be eaten up by removal costs. The head of the Bordeaux wine trade body, CIVB, Alan Sichel, estimated a 2,000 euro per hectare cost for removal when he was talking to a regional newspaper in 2022. Land suitable for vineyards is more marginal than arable, and many of the plants that would do well in those spaces are expensive to plant. And that's assuming the land is replanted rather than used for animals, forestry, energy farming, or a myriad of other options. But in any scenario, new crop or entirely new sector, current growers would still need to make a massive investment in education, tools, and technology. And I haven't seen anything published by the European Commission, Ministry of Agriculture, or news publications on what industry might be a good fit for the land and labor that's about to be available. If you have, please drop that info in the comments or in our forum. Next, the tiny harvest in France. So a month ago, I ran through the September production estimates issued by France's Ministry of Agriculture. But on October 1st, those estimates were updated. The new data shows an even smaller harvest than previously projected. Overall national production is now forecast to be down 22% year on year and 15% compared with a 5-year average. According to Vitisphere, this puts the vintage in line with 2021 yields and is barely above the historically low yields of the 2017 vintage. On to Napa's name protection. On October 10th, Napa Valley Vintners announced that Napa Valley had become the first wine region in the world to secure name protection rights in Mexico. As the press release explained, this is hugely important as Mexico has become one of the top 5 export markets for Napa Valley Vintner members. Californian wine exports in general to Mexico saw 29% growth in volume and 25% growth in value in 2022 alone. Wine from Napa Valley now has name protection in 22 countries and in the entire European Union. On to the Duckhorn Portfolio. On October 8th, the Duckhorn Portfolio, known for brands such as Decoy, Sonoma-Cutrer, Kost Browne, and Duckhorn Vineyards, sold to Butterfly Equity for $1.95 billion. This means that Duckhorn will no longer be a publicly traded company. All shareholders will be paid out at $11.10 per share. The wine industry has seen a lot of sales of late, but this one surprised me. The Duckhorn Portfolio acquired Sonoma-Cutrer from Brown-Forman only in November of last year. At that time, they seemed financially healthy. They had closed the 2023 fiscal year, which ends on September 30th, so prior to the acquisition, with sales up 8.2% over 2022. And when they acquired Sonoma-Cutrer, the deal was structured so that even though it was a $400 million sale, in reality, it was 21.5% ownership for Brown-Forman and 2 seats on the board of directors plus $50 million, which means they got to keep most of their cash. Clearly, I had not checked in lately. During the 2024 fiscal year, Duckhorn stock prices halved, and excluding Sonoma-Cutrer from calculations, the rest of the portfolio saw sales decrease by 13.9%. Even with Sonoma-Cutrer in the mix, gross profits fell by 7.2%, which tells me that even premium dominant portfolios are suffering. But my question is, what does Butterfly Equity know that we don't know? Finally, come over October. Back in July, there was a press conference led by author Karen McNeil and public relations executives Gino Colangelo and Kimberly Charles presenting Come Over October. a new movement to counterbalance Sober October. The idea was to create a movement that recognizes wine as a product that facilitates community gathering and socializing. This month, there are quite a few wineries, wine bars, and restaurants hosting Come Over October events. You can find many of them on localwineevents.com. Jackson Family Wines has even gone so far as to waive tasting fees at most of their properties for the whole month. Personally, I've been hosted by my friends twice. I'm due to host them next week, and I have to say that trading off cooking dinner is pretty nice. Hosting is a lot of work, but depending on how many people you involve, you may not have hosting duties more than once. Anyway, that's all for this episode of Wine News. If you enjoy this newscast and you'd like to see it continue, please subscribe to jancesrobinson.com. And if you have breaking news in your area, please email me at news@jancesrobinson.com. Thanks.